What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I know y'all have been waiting for this night. I'm so excited, y'all. We've been in this thing for 4 weeks straight, and y'all know this. This is the review, y'all. This is the review. I'm your girl Quintez, and I got my friends with me. I have Miss Jasmine Henderson, and then I also have my brother DC Cross. Come on, y'all give it up something like what? Yeah, on your end, clap it up. Hey, y'all, tonight. And y'all hit a live audience in the back. It's a live audience for me. You hear me? Uh, and y'all, tonight is super duper special. Do you want to know why? We had to put a little extra seasoning on the last review. You heard me? Because it's a special one. We got the one and only, the author of Driven by Design. You know what I'm saying? We got the man with a plan. Come on. The one and only Pastor Jonathan Everett. Y'all give it up for him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to hit the you heard me one
Right,
time.
you heard me? Let's go, you heard me? Man. And so, y'all, everybody has been talking about the book week by week. We've been talking about it, and y'all know last week we went through a little curve because we started off with talking about chapter 7 through 9, but then it went into just us showing up as the people of God, us actually going forth in ministry, and us being in a place where God can use us. But it went somewhere else. So on tonight, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for God to do the same thing. God, look, Lord, switch it up the way you want to. We here for it. But before we get into all that, before we get into it, we got to know. Now, I saw your bio. You know what I'm saying? I know, but I want to hear from you. The people want to know, who is Pastor Jonathan Everett?
Oh man, a project baby. That's who I am. It's an interesting question right now in our society because I think that's one of those huge distances between identity and purpose, right? It's like I think people are praying to God to find their purpose without searching in their identity, what that is. Adam, right? I think I'm about to jump the gun. I know I'm about to jump.
Because that's
I
what we're
think
here for. Let's go.
but I don't want y'all live audience to go crazy because
That's what the
I was
people
on
want.
I was on the phone. I was on the phone with somebody today, right? And it was talking about marriage. That's why I didn't want to go there. And I was telling, I was like, marriage to me has taken a different form. It's more about purpose now. It's not about love. It's not about feelings, right? Let's look at it. Genesis chapter number 2. The Bible said that when he tell Adam, name these animals, take dominion over everything, gave him the assignment, gave him a responsibility. Then he comes back and he said, wait 1 second. It's not good for him to be alone. He can't be by himself and do the work. Now, if God just sent a wife just for intimacy, he wasn't by himself. Adam don't even know what turns him on at this point. They got animals everywhere. He don't know what turns him on, but when he seen Eve, he said, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's different, right? So it's not even, it's like him finding his identity and finding his purpose. So for me, I think to answer that is I just know who I am. And I think that's the thing that keeps me grounded coming from the Fisher Project. And, growing up in these projects was always challenging to find who you are. And I started preaching at the age of 12, 13. And I used to hide in the van, the church van, so nobody can see my mama. Mama used to drive the church van. And I used to hide in the back so nobody can see me in the church van because I knew what I was doing at school. So I went through all of the identity crises, trying to find my true self. And then coming up, I had to decide now what I'm gonna do. Like, am I gonna really walk with God? Or am I really gonna go and do what all my other brothers and sisters or cousins doing? And that is, doing what we normally do in our community. So if you really want to know who Pastor Eric is, just a guy, I still eat sardines and crackers. Right? I pop a can in a minute. And these Vienna sausages is getting out of hand. Like they got too many different flavors. I remember one flavor, right? Regular, original. This is like this is too much. But thank you so very much. Sorry I took so long to get to that. It's just regular guy.
No, we want to know who you are because this book encompasses you.
Yeah.
And and you can read it and see the person that you are. And us, just even every morning on your prayer call, we can see the book in you.
Yeah.
You know
Wow.
what I'm saying?
Wow.
So at the end of the day, that's what we want to know. We see the words.
Yeah.
I want to hear it from you.
Thank you also very much. I put it back all the way up and say thank you also very much for having me. And but to do this is, I think it's remarkable. I think it shows support in our community and what true support is in our community and supporting the locals. We have festivals come in our city and stuff like that that don't really understand the tribal understanding of New Orleans. And to see this, it just speaks to the fabric of who we are. So thank you also very much from the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do believe this is a part of developing the culture even right now with you. You know what I'm saying? Like you make. I know you know, but I need you to know the major impact
Mm.
that you have, over the city. And so, even though many don't say it, we see it. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
We just was talking about that before we went on.
Yeah.
It's to see it. We can follow you because we see it.
Mm.
We can see where you're going
Mm.
because we can follow you. You can talk all day, but the fact of the matter is that you ain't got to say nothing.
Mm.
All we gotta do is look up and follow where you're going.
Wow.
And I
Right.
want to kind of speak to that just real quickly. We recently just attended the 5 a.m. prayer,
Mm.
and as soon as I walked in front of the church, the Lord said revival.
Mm.
And that is exactly what you are doing in the lives of people in New Orleans. Like, you're bringing revival to people. And that is commendable in itself. And every time I think of you, I always say, Pastor Jonathan Everett, he works who he is, and it works for him.
Yeah.
So hats off to you for being who you are authentically, and for just seeing God manifest that through fruit, through people. Lives are really being changed because of, you walking authentically in who you are. So hats off to you.
So we got to jump in the book.
Wow.
We got to jump in the book.
We'll be here forever.
Wow, Pastor Everett, what sparked the idea to write this book? Where did this book come from? Where was it birthed?
The question that I slept with every night was not necessarily what I was running towards, but what I was running from. So for me, I'm a very analytical person. So I can't sleep until I finish a thought so that I can get some rest. But I kept thinking, and I kept talking to different people who what I believe have achieved what we call empty accomplishments. So you get the house, all right, cool. And I'm watching these guys spend all this money on $1 million house just to buy friends to come to $1 million house to have just a good time for one night. Or, I flew all around the country and these guys have nice cars but they don't drive them. And I kept thinking, like, do I want that to be the catalyst behind my story? Like the achievement of materialistical things. And so one guy asked him one day, he's like, what do you want your legacy to be as a pastor? I said, I want my legacy to be that he changed lives. I don't want my legacy to be, oh, he built this big old building over there. Man, I think that's crazy, right? He changed people's lives and he stood there. So I didn't want it to be that. And so this question kept coming to my mind, not what are you running to, but what is it? Identify it very practically. What are you running from? Is it poverty? Is it sardines and crackers? Is it powdered milk? Is it powdered eggs? Right? Is it shooting marbles in the breezeway all day? Like, is it watching people get killed? Right? What is it that pushes you? What's driving you forward? Because if you don't determine what that is, you always, end up in cycles. Right? You just keep going through the same thing because there's nothing driving you to make, real good decisions or wise decisions, because I refuse to be that person that I left. Right? And I appreciate the distance between where I was and where I am today. And to analyze that. What is that? Many people don't want to look back there. But one of the greatest things about looking in that past is finding some good treasure, man. And to realize that sometimes one of the worst things that you can experience is finding your identity in somebody else's trash.
Hey,
Right.
could you
And
say
and
that?
and like really finding really finding your identity, who you are, because some of the best assessments of who you are will come from outside. It's coming from people who are around you the most. It's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. So even your worst enemy have something good for you to grow. Like they have something to add to your value. They see it, right? So Jonathan not going into the wilderness to find David so they can shoot marbles. Jonathan goes into the wilderness, looks at David and say, "Hey man, my daddy know you're going to be the next king. I know you're going to be the next king." He said, "And guess what? You won't die in this wilderness, in this cave." He said, "I'm going to be right there with you on side." That's their pack. So when David become king, he go looking for the last inheritance of Saul's family. So how you think Mephibosheth came out of Lodebar? He said, "I'm going to be good to you because your daddy got me out the cave." Somebody around you have your future. Ooh, Lord. Yeah. Somebody around you have your future description in their mouth, whether it's your friends or your enemies. So I learned how to be so keen to words that I'm listening to what everybody say and I'm starting to put it into pieces. Because this life is a puzzle. It's about managing moving pieces. It's about living with unanswered questions. It's about being driven by something you refuse to experience again and make an inter commitment. I will never be that person again. Right? So when you ask me what drives me, I'm thinking about sleeping on floors. I'm thinking about waking up with guns in my face. I'm thinking about seeing a guy get his brains beat out in the breezeway that had urine in it. I'm thinking about how can I get out of this shooting that's just happened at St. Mary's Place on Journey to God. I'm thinking about all those things. So when I wake up in the morning, I am motivated by my own motives. I don't need nobody to say, "Hey man, get up in the morning." No, bro. When I get up in the morning, I'm ready because my motives motivates me.
Man.
What? Yeah, that's true though. What drives you? You define what that is. Because if not, you're gonna continue to fill your life with. You're just changing people. That's all you're gonna do. But you find out what drives you, right? What wakes you up in the morning. And I get up 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm up 5. I'm praying. I'm talking to God. By the time I hit that 7, man, I done sent emails out. I done sent a couple of text messages out. Yeah, because by the time I hit the prayer line, man, I'm ready to go work after that.
We feel it.
You know what I mean? You know. I hope I answered your question, brother. I went around the corner, but I
Hey.
hope.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, where we at?
My turn. So, all right. So my question was, who is your target audience when writing this book? But I think chapter 12 answered it. But I really, since we've been sitting here talking, you talked about so many people that have read the book. So I want to change it and ask, how has your target audience influenced your feeling of writing this book?
That it really clarified to me that gifts only is not enough. Let's go a little further. Sunday is not enough. Right? So you know that audience, the target audience was essentially those who are battling but the borderlines of, should I go forward? Do I have permission to go forward? Am I crazy with my imaginations to go forward? Am I waiting on somebody else to approve my dreams when this was my dream and not a Zoom call? Was I am I waiting on one more step? What chapter I need to complete this story before I move in it? But the more and more that I'm saying, like the response, the reciprocation from the book, it was from people who say, "Wait, I had all the gifts. It's not that I was doing the wrong thing. I was doing the wrong thing. I was doing the right thing in the wrong season. I missed the win in the last season. I move a little bit too fast." But what I've been getting back from people is saying, "All right, cool. All right, check. I got the family. Boom. I got the husband and wife. Boom. I got the kids. The only thing I was missing out of all these things was guts. I'm not a big talker. Anybody tell you outside of what I listen, I don't say nothing at all. I'm by myself. That's not just because I'm an introvert. I just believe, like one philosopher said, a person who cannot entertain their own thoughts, they fill the world with noise. Soren Kierkegaard said, life is only understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. I've never seen the most talkative people make the most progress because you cannot think and learn at the same time. You see what I'm going with this, right? So outside of all that, let's throw all of that aside. What I got out of having these conversations, touring 6 cities, and a couple of people in this room was with me. I got people saying, you gave me guts. You told me it was possible. You told me not to be afraid to fail. If I really start telling a testimony where I was 5 years ago, man, we'll clear this room. 5 years ago, I was in a 1-bedroom apartment with an air mattress and a 30-inch television. And when my little nephew came with no car in the garage, when my little nephew came home from college, he said, Unc, I need a TV. I said, well, come get this 32-inch. And I had a hole in my air mattress. But I had to have guts. Nobody knew I didn't have a car because I Uber everywhere. I show up, soup, fresh, cologne, everything. They're like, where he come from, though? I be coming to block down the street. But you got to have guts in this, man. This is not easy. This is not nobody. And one of the things that I love that a lot of people come back and review and tell me, they say, Pastor, one of the things that you taught me, nobody owe you anything. Right? And why shouldn't you want more when God told you you can have it? Hope I answered your question.
That's the hope I answer your question.
Did.
We're gonna be there.
Definitely answered it. So now we can review the chapters.
Yeah, so, because we got nuggets from each chapter. I hope you're ready.
I'm all over. Yeah.
Are you ready for this ride?
Yep.
All right.
I'm ready for it.
And yeah, I know y'all been reading with us. I know y'all have y'all. Oh, my bad. So I know y'all been reading with us, and I know y'all have your own nuggets on y'all end. But we're gonna pull out some nuggets that we got from each chapter, and we're gonna dive in, y'all. Look, I'm so excited to get into the mind. All right, so let me say this: the first chapter was purpose, right?
Yep.
And for me, not so much of a question, but a feeling, right?
Sure.
Because some of the things that you wrote, you have to feel it in order to write it. And you took us on page 13. Look, if you got your book at home, praise God. So you on page 13, you said, our problem is that we have cut ourselves even deeper, trying to get closure and make sense of the broken pieces when our hands were not made to carry broken things and our hearts weren't designed to be weighed down with uh, the the heartaches of this world. I'm just tripping, but yeah. So my own when I read that, what my mind does, it comes up with its own synopsis, so I can receive it. And I was like, dang. So walking around with broken things in your hands, all you're gonna keep doing is bleeding. And why am I gonna walk around with that when I could just easily pick it up piece by piece carefully and then throw it away? But why do I choose to hold it? So because I know later in the book it talks about us using our pain, but how in this moment when you wrote that, you looked at, man, I'm tired of holding on to broken things, like I have to give it to God.
It's the same philosophy of people who pain pleasure certain people. I was careful to say that just now because some people need pain to feel love. It was based on I was a diesel mechanic. You ain't gonna believe that, right?
Show me a picture.
I used to work on Caterpillars, Detroits. I was a real diesel mechanic. And they had this guy named Brishan Dakota. And he came home from the military. And he taught me about pain. He was one of our top Detroit engines mechanics. Anytime one of the tugboats in the river the engine would be destroyed, we would fly him to them, whether it's Africa, Amsterdam, Arkansas. And when he discovered that his wife was sleeping with his best friend, I'm the only black guy out of 70 employees. And he know I'm a preacher, so he would come late drunk to the warehouse and he'd be talking. That was one day. Then the next day I see him, he got his nipple pierced. Then the next day I seen he got tattoos. Then the next day I seen you see the cycle, right? He then became pleased by pain. And so when I was writing this book, I even assessed my own life. Why do I love what's killing me so much? And why, like the Bible suggests, a dog will go back to his own vomit is foolish. So I was trying to paint this imagery that says, instead of me walking the time, the energy, I'm walking with broken pieces. See, that analogy was really in so many ways metaphorically talking about how we pray small too. We will use that same prayer to pray for the light bill. Don't you know that same prayer, if you change the words, you can say, Lord, just keep the lights on.
I mean,
Right? Like, oh, Lord, take my blood pressure down. No, Lord, just have my whole body healthy and healed.
man.
It's the change of perspective. And why, and it's into to a larger point, why am I not worthy of that? Why do I think I deserve broken pieces? And I'm walking around like this is my reward, holding on to something that's cutting me and killing me.
But we get so comfortable with it. Like we get so comfortable with the pain.
Numb.
So we get numb.
Mm-hmm. Very
You know.
insensitive. So just think about the children of Israel. They're in the wilderness. This is about to be good. They're in the wilderness. They had no business staying that long. No, we're not giving them credit that they had manna raining from heaven and water out of rock. They weren't even supposed to be there that long. Their complaining kept them there because they would rather die in Egypt comfortably than to walk through the wilderness in uncertainty and ambiguity. Listen to what they kept saying. Man, you could have left us back there. Because you know what happens? People don't mind living comfortably in something that is developed. Egypt is developed. They got streets, they got tents, they have rocks, they have straw. Wilderness don't have that. And life is about being uncomfortable. Any place you stay longer than you're supposed to become negative. Yeah, this is real talk now.
No, like
It's real talk.
like
You try to drink some milk, if you kept it too long. Yeah, it's anything that stay longer than it's supposed to, it becomes negative. And anything that you do not reciprocate on the same level or a greater level, you resent it. I don't care how much you love them. You could be in Dubai and hate the person you're next to because you ain't reciprocating on the same level. Hope I answered your question.
That's the Selah moment.
I figure we keep going with it. I mean, it's right there. So
I did have something to say. I hate when I forget. I should have wrote it down, but
it was right there.
it was right there.
It's gone.
Oh no,
It's coming back.
It's not my age. It's not my age. But yeah, wait, no. So that's what it was. With that, just like Israel, we get confused because God continues to keep us in that. So and I'm not saying like he himself keeps us, but he keeps us mentally. He keeps us, he still covers us, even in those places we're not supposed to be.
Sure.
And so we get confused as that being a place where we belong.
I can add something.
Go ahead.
We confuse access with approval.
Take out this shit.
Yeah, it's in the Bible. All right, come on. Thy rod and thy staff comfort you. Whenever a shepherd walked with his sheep, the rod wasn't just to discipline them. The staff wasn't just discipline. The rod was because they walked through towns where they had access to different yards. So the shepherd took his staff, and every time a sheep was about to bite something with dull teeth that he couldn't properly chew, the shepherd would put him back in line. Because just because you have access to it, you can chew on something that'll kill you. You feel what I'm saying? You
You're
feel
too
what I'm saying?
loud.
No,
It's too loud.
this is
It's way
this is
too
real
loud.
talk. So we confuse that. We confuse just because I'm here, I have access, I'm approved for this. One God, one of the greatest tests in my life has been letting go something that was good to me. This is true stuff. These ain't jokes. These ain't jokes. This is real talk. Listen, it's easy to get rid of something that's hurting you or fatal or imminent danger. The greatest discernment now is not discerning your friend's energy. I knew you know, I can tell you no good. You walked up looking no good. But to discern not your friends, not your surrounding, to discern yourself. Do I have capacity for this friendship? Because I would hate to fail you as a friend. Or do I have the capacity to take on any other assignment? Because I watch what people say no to way more than what they say yes to. Yeah, a person who never say no, they don't have boundaries, they don't have no kind of strategy, they're like a city without walls. A person who argue with everybody doesn't have an intelligent integrity. You just out here just arguing with people because you have no moral compass, right? Just because you have access doesn't mean you have approval.
That will be a post tonight. Now,
Or her sermon. Hallelujah. A series. Okay, we're gonna break this down.
This is true. I'm putting
I'm
myself
gonna
on the
give, I'm
altar.
gonna give you your
man.
credit.
Nah, you have to give.
I'm gonna give you
nah,
credit.
nah, it's all you, man. No, this is. I'm really. I to be thoroughly honest with you all, I love what you all are doing. These concepts, like sitting down and really having conversation and dialogue, because the message is only as important as the messenger. It connects to each other, right? And I really came just to get my root, but I'm starting to really feel this thing right now, right? Because one of the things that I'm adamant about is dealing with the core, not symptoms. I'm adamant about it saying, listen, instead of you putting band-aids on it, no, you need surgery. I'm adamant about, instead of you talking about you need deliverance, no, you need a prescription, my man, right? It's like at the core of who you are, assess what that is. If I'm the one, if I play majority of that role in that pain, I got to take responsibility for that. I can own that. What I cannot afford to do is to have what we call false progress. I got to lie to myself just to keep going. So who is winning the argument in your head? And why I got to keep telling you I love you and beat you at the same time?
My God, man.
It's the false progress. That's false persistency, right? Once again, like all of your intentions should have your attention, right? So just because you got access does not mean that you're approved for it.
Bring us back. Come on.
I'm gonna leave that right there because I feel it all in my soul.
Come on. Because when you're preaching on the Sunday, make sure you remember you got.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I feel it all in my soul.
So we're gonna go on to chapter 2. And it's on page 20 for those who have your books with you. But this spoke to me loudly because of the season that I'm in right now. So chapter two's topic is passion, and it reads, you are destined by design, and there is a blueprint for life filled with everything you need. Your purpose has been strategically engineered and is custom made for you. No one has your blueprint.
Yeah,
It is unique to you.
yeah,
And I think, speaking just back on the identity and purpose, I think it's important for us to know the seasons that we're in,
yeah,
because I think we'll always be, as long as we're connected to God, we'll always be developing, right? But I think it's also a great point when you realize, okay, God, you've made me to be this.
yeah, yeah.
I need to walk in this, and to accept God's approval that you can walk in it. And you said something this morning with prayer, like no one can do it like you.
Nobody.
Like you're the best that can do it with everything that God has given you. You are the best that can do it. And so it
Straight
is
up.
Just straight up facts. So it's disciplining your mind, disciplining your spirit to accept that the blueprint is yours and you can do it. So if you want to speak to that.
Um, I, the Bible is all I really know, right? So let's do this. The One of the things I'm discovering is people have high expectations but low quality of living. And it's because people have high expectations but low acceptance percentages. The Bible is right there. Let's start with David. I am a wonderful complex. He said, God, you know my inward parts. He said, I am multi-layered. Sometimes I feel happy, sometimes I don't. Why we think that's weird? Sometimes I want to be your friend, sometimes I'm shut off to myself. I am a wonderful complex. It's not that you don't know who you are, you haven't accepted that you got demons at night. You haven't accepted that sometimes you don't want people to know how angry you get. You haven't accepted. It's not some ill emotion, just like you say that God has greater in me. Yeah, but they also got something else in there. Because every battery need a positive and a negative. Go to Paul. Paul said, I'm the chief sinner amongst you all. He said, the thing that I would do, I find myself not doing it. And the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, that's what I do the most. He said, I am torn, not around my friends. I'm torn in my members. Adam did not get the fruit from his enemies. He took a good fruit from a bad hand. And that was the person he loved. So why I can't accept? Sometimes I get mad every now and then. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can move on with your life, right? But when you was talking a few minutes ago about blueprint and passion, I thought I can turn people passion on. I'm serious. I really thought that. I was like, man, I'll be going to church and I'll be taking energy drinks. I go in there like, come on, everybody. And I was like, these people ain't moving. What's wrong? And then I understood that a couple of things. There are three people you cannot help. People who know they need help but don't want it. People who don't know they need help. And people who know they need help but they don't want help from you. Right? I had to learn these things. I had to learn that passion is tied to that purpose. And if a person don't have passion, it's because they're unmotivated or misinformed about what that is. And when I discovered that true happiness is not what's happening, and when I discovered everything that makes you happy doesn't make you healthy, right? I had to start reassessing what passion was to me. You know what I mean? Like put my all into it and understand that this design God. Now, God, the law first mentioned, God is too strategic. This is another sermon for you. I'm gonna give you another sermon.
I'm gonna tell you.
If, if Donald Trump head was 1 inch to the right, metaphorically, he'd be dead. God is never an inch off. Whenever he want to do something for you, blueprint, he hits his target. He never miss. First day, let there be light, the rivers, the mountains, da 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 da. Then he said, wait, I didn't put the blueprint in action. Now let us make man. Why you think we got baby showers? To have everything before the baby arrive. God is not a reactive God. He's proactive. You have to trust that this blueprint will lead me to my destiny. Right? And I told the church last night about their testimony, how it will become somebody else's textbook. Right? Your testimony will help somebody else. It was good that I was afflicted. I had to learn something about me and God. Right? I hope I answered your question.
Pastor Everett, you are this book because I don't even know if you realize you're quoting so much
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Now this is about to get real.
Come on now.
My favorite chapter in the book is chapter 3,
Come on.
code switching. You got to have a sermon called code switching out here somewhere, because this, it speaks to an entire generation, especially this generation that we're in, because in code switching, you spoke to our potential, you spoke to our mindsets, you spoke to us finding a place of balance. And it talked to us about that. Well, I want you to talk to us about that balance, because one of the most powerful things that you said in chapter 3 for me was learn how to speak the language of multiple cultures without changing who you are. Can you speak to that for us tonight?
So, code switching is my favorite chapter actually, because it's
I know.
it speaks to the diversity of our human anatomy, right? And right now, neuroscientists trying to expand the brain capacity so we can operate more efficient and more effective. I heard somebody say something one day. I don't know who to give the credit to. They said one of the balancing act in any person's life, and we'll go back to diversity, is never to fail at the same thing 2 days in a row. So if I was a bad father Monday, I can't be a bad father Tuesday, because nobody bat 100 every single day. And you're not batting 100 all day. If I was a horrible son Monday, I can't be a horrible son on Tuesday. I probably fail somewhere else, but I can't be a horrible son. It's not failing at the same thing 2 days in a row. Diversity for me is to a larger metric that each and every one of us are diverse. I start looking at people groups and how, of course, our city is tribal, and how everybody, you only my friend because we think alike, walk alike, talk alike, live alike. You don't grow because of similarities. You grow in diversity. That's why people cry so much when they go through something, right? You grow into testing. There's nothing. Even the Bible said if the branch doesn't produce fruit, I still have to do something to the branch that's producing fruit so it can produce more fruit. There's no personality. There's no person identity. There's no purpose that lacks diversity that is developed without defects. Now let's run that back. There's not a personality. There's not an organization. There's not a church. There's not a people group that has ever developed without diversity. You need diversity. We live lives of avoidance. If I can avoid the pain, if I can avoid the tough conversations, if I can avoid all of those things, you know why? Because they're not secure in who they are. Y'all looking at me like I ain't. No, they ain't secure in who they are. So when I discovered that when a person called me, they're not calling me to then start pretending to be somebody else. They're calling me to be me. And when I started bringing me into the room, and I discovered the ideal me and the real me could become synonymous, I run that back. The imagination of the ideal me, right? This idea of I want people to praise that me. My mama loved that me. My daddy cherished that me. But the real me struggle in a lot of areas. But when I saw the possibility that both of them can become synonymous, both public and private, I walk into every room myself. Yeah, I used to read the dictionary when I moved to DC because the language barrier. Yeah. And I used to be like, man, I ain't going back up in there, man. Them people talking very professional. And I'm up around here talking about, yeah, what's that, man? I'll call you. I'll be right back with you to turtle it, right? And everybody in the room was like, and I'll go home and read the dictionary. That's how I was like, man, I can't do that. And then I discovered, well, you know what? Let's not be naive. Just perfect what it is that God has given you. And then here's another challenge for everybody in the room is to decide, even perfecting me, who am I really called to? I do not waste no energy on people who say stuff like, your ministry is not for me. All right. I believe you. Or, well, I don't like that pastor. I believe you, right? I don't get offended when people say, well, I don't want to hear the pastor. I want to hear the singing. Long as that singing done before I preach. You know what I'm saying? So like those things, I'm not easily offended. That lion, that dove, You learn that in diversity. You do not learn. I learned that knocking on doors, trying to tell people about Jesus, and they shutting the door in my face. See, when I started preaching, they used to make me preach on Simon Boulevard in the middle of the median with the little bullhorn journey, and everybody blowing, saying, "Boy, you better get out the sun. You're gonna die out here talking preaching." And then we used to have to go to the snowball stand, and people used to bring me water and tea, and we wasn't begging for money. We was just preaching the word. But that's how I grew up in. I grew up in the tough terrains of understanding. Everybody won't like you. They won't agree with you. They'll never become your friend. And longevity does not equate to loyalty. And let's redefine Amos 3:3. How can two walk together unless they are in agreement? Message translation. Eugene Peterson say, let's reassess that. How can two walk together unless they agree upon the same destination? Because some people will walk with you until they see they exit. We agreed to get on I-10 East, but when you get around Chef, you just won't just slide on me, right? So diversity is the thing that builds us, man. That's why I can go into these different spaces. I can code switch. I can sit down at a table with 10 billionaires and talk to them on their level. Then I can come talk to my boy on the corner on his level. Then I can go preach, then walk right out of there and speak to the NOPD department. Like you have to be able to move in these different spaces. I can't show up to the NOPD this upcoming Saturday and preach like preacher talking about at the cross. They don't know nothing about no at the cross. A lot of them people ain't even going to church every Sunday. But if I don't understand the diversity that's in this room, and the challenge for me is to be or to adapt to these different environments, right?
So for the person who's wondering, where do I start with code switching? Like how do we even take that first step? Like, do we network?
Oh yeah, that's social development all day.
Okay.
That's you can't integrate yourself and isolate yourself and feel that diversity, right? It has to be like walking to the room for Thanksgiving around our Caucasian brothers and sisters, millionaires in our city, and one of them say, can just give me that gum out your mouth because you're about to talk to some high profile people. You can't learn that behind the computer. You see what I'm saying? Or walking in certain environments, you're like, man, everybody got Wranglers on. And you got these name brands, you're like, I'm gonna be right back. You can't learn that behind a computer. So to really understand that, that's a social perseverance. That's me really getting into these spaces and really understand these spaces exist. Like going to country club and start talking. You don't know nothing about golf, but I mean, you got to get in there and start learning it and going home and do your research and understand. Now, the next time that I'm presented with this, oh, you know what? Let's do a birthday golf thing because now I can introduce some other young black boys and girls to something that I never been in. So that diversity and those pursuits that you endeavor in, it leads to more roads for other people.
The bridge.
Yeah, the road less traveled.
Now, we don't take hold of that bridge because we get so stuck in who we are,
Oh, of
and so
course.
it's like, oh man, I don't need to change. It's the pride.
Yeah.
The pride says, no, they're gonna take me for who I am,
Yeah,
whether they like
yeah,
it or
be
not.
right outside too. Yeah,
And right outside,
yeah,
and looking through the
right.
window, talk about, man, what they talk about in there.
Yeah.
Well,
They talk. Hey, they that man. He's still at the window. He's still right there. Look over there and tell me if he's right there. He's there. Yeah, man. It's an interesting thing that you said that because we're living in a generation they would burn the city just to keep warm. If I can't have it, nobody can have it.
crazy.
So I'm gonna just set the whole city on fire just so it can keep me warm. It's a concept. It's a twisted perspective, contorted consciousness that we're dealing with right now. That if it's not about me, there's not no diversity. We have more social issues now than anything. You know what I mean? Like when we was at Nard Parks when I was coming up, we knew how to deal with our friends who thought they was bullies and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like we knew how to deal with those things. Now, I mean, they having real social issues. They have real social issues. We got human AIs right now. They got like real social issues because they don't even know how to start communicating or code switching. Right? You put them in front of somebody, they probably say one or two words. They don't know what an elevator's pitch is. Like I was teaching a guy about an elevator pitch. He started talking about where he come from. I said, hey man, nobody care where you come from. You trying to get them $5 million? They don't care nothing about where you came from. They want to know what that ROI is on them $5 million and how fast they can get that ROI on them $5 million, right? But because the social skill and the disparity in social dysfunctions are so large right now, it is hard to put kids. That's why your customer service in different industries are going down because they don't know how to talk to one another. Soft skills are the thing that we lack in. We're not lacking businesses. We have businesses, and we're not lacking putting certain black people in certain predicaments. We have enough black people across this world in high power positions. They're just socially imbalanced.
I have one more question. Since we're talking about code switching, there was, I don't know if it's chapter 3 or if it's another chapter. You talked about us as Christians, how we should have stayed ahead of the curve.
Sure,
Specifically during the pandemic, and
sure.
how a
I'm glad
lot
you
of
asked this question.
ministries and churches were not up to date on using the internet. So can you speak to that? Do you think that we've leveled up? Do you think that we still have some room to grow?
Oh, we have a lot of room to grow. I think we are struggling now with, and please don't shout on this. We're struggling now understanding the balance between order and operation.
Come on, run it.
The pandemic has exposed you and I to more black slave owners in the church than the white ones. I have a philosophy, and my team know if I have to hold it to have it, you're the wrong person in my life. And any form, and I just finished teaching this in the Louisiana State Convention to a whole bunch of pastors. I said, man, listen, man, I lead people and manage policies. Because if you manage people, that's a lower form of slavery. People buck up against that. No, no. The policy says sign the book, sit down and wait till we call your name. I don't care if you feel like it, you're a Democrat, you're tall, dark, handsome, your mama got money, your daddy got money. If you want to see this doctor, sign that paper and sit down till we call you. They managing a policy. That's why the girl behind the desk don't care nothing about how you feel. Because she says you respect our what? Our policy. I don't spend not 1 second pastoring talking about why you're 10 minutes late. The policy says if you're 10 minutes late, this happens. But I'm not about to waste time talking about what the policy taught you already. So when you start talking about ahead of the curve, there one preacher told me, he said, man, you be careful on that Facebook because it's like the hypocrites in the synagogue. And I really wanted to take something back, but the lion in me wanted to take something back. But I think somebody got my attention. I want to you.
Pipe down, lion. Pipe down.
Don't do that. That was a trigger just now. Yeah, I did. But I didn't text. I didn't text back that night. I didn't text back that night. And he texted that, and I had just got on Facebook. Well, I was on Facebook, and he texted, and I ain't say nothing. But oh Lord, I just fast forward 6 years later, he on every day.
Come on.
So when you say code, let's go. All right. So you say code switching, and this is not just talking about being ahead of the game. This is really doing proper assessments of certain doors that's open. So I did TV, Channel 20. I was paying $1,500 a week. That's with production and the air slot. I had to pay people. I had to pay for marketing tools to advertise to people to come watch TV. That's $1,500 a week. Facebook, that's where everybody at for free.
Free.
I didn't understand that hypocrite in the synagogue, right? But when I was doing it, everybody thought I was crazy. I've been doing it, before Periscope came, right? I can say this right now on any platform. I was the first pastor to do a prayer call. Before you Jamal Brown, all these guys know me. Before you Bishop Walker, before all those guys, I was doing prayer call on a conference call. This before they stopped letting you put that big old identification number in there, where you just call in now to a number, right? And so being ahead of the curve is the benefit of saying, I see it. I'm not waiting on somebody to approve it. And I'm not a part of this demographic that says, I got to wait for you to show me. They got people still to this day, right now, that's passing the church without a Facebook page, without a camera to shoot their live screen. You don't even need to pastor physically to churches. The minute that you open that Facebook Live and Instagram, that's your second location. But they don't look at it like that, right? And their philosophy is, I need order. Well, you can't control everybody on the internet, Rev. No, Rev. And if you got a control problem, you're in the wrong position.
Come on.
Right? That manipulation, that cult, that do it now, sit here. What? Hey, man, that stuff don't work online, Rev. No, it don't work online. You got to control you now.
I think another issue or another barrier, I'll put it that way. Another barrier that a lot of leaders have is just the lack of resources, whether they hinder themselves from networking or they don't see it. So there's a lack of vision there. What helped you to adapt to the vision, catch on to the vision, and like run full force with it?
To be thoroughly honest with you, I think for me, I was just going with the wind. I didn't wait for somebody to tell. Like, I don't know how that worked. And I'm really not I don't know how to describe it. I'm an anomaly. Let's just say that. But I don't know how to really let grass grow under my feet. I'm not that guy. If the Lord tell me yes, no is the wrong answer. That's my philosophy. You cannot tell me no when he told me yes. I don't care what metric, plane, bus, swimming, I'm getting there some kind of way. Nobody could have told me we could have put over 7,000 people at Ted Garment for Resurrection Sunday morning. You can't pinch me right now and tell me that. I still left the brand equity in that service. I haven't used it yet because I'm still trying to process how that happened, right? You talking about having over 7,000 people in a stadium for the very first time in history of church happening on a used to be plantation. The only reason I'm sitting here tonight is that I don't wait for the pie. I take them crumbs and go with it because the same ingredients that's in the pie.
You said that in the book. You said sometimes you can't wait for the honey. You have to use the cow
Yeah.
and the bee. So you
Yeah.
said that. So and that was
pieces.
it. Yeah.
Listen, I would say something else, but I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble.
We got you, babe.
It's greed. Greed will sabotage your movement every single time.
Man.
Yeah, it's greed. And it's ignorance of not knowing. It's not knowing how fruitful you are because you don't know how seedful you are. So every transaction have to be beneficial. In order for me to sit here, you got to give me $2,500. When this can go way further than $2,500. This run deeper than $2,500. The transaction doesn't even have leverage in it, right? What am I doing to galvanize fruit in my life that I didn't even know was a seed?
As a people, we missing it. Like we're just doing stuff.
Yeah, one philosopher said if you're 100% sure, you're absolutely too late. You'll never be. Listen, vision will never fit within your budget. Vision will always outlive you. And vision is for more than just you. I've never had money to do what we did. Never. Never, never. I have never went to sleep saying, "Whoo, thank you, Jesus. Boy, we touched that budget right there." Never. But it don't stop me from doing something else. Because the provision is not my responsibility. That's not my job. I'm worrying about God's stuff. That's God's business. And when I learned how to stop asking God for man stuff, you don't believe me? I guess I got to go to the Bible. The Bible said, here it is, that man kept on asking everybody for something, action of alms. He was asking them for man stuff, arms, tangible. But when Jesus walked up, he said, no, I need to be healed. I asked you for God stuff. I asked them for man stuff. That is the best corrective action in prayer. Majority of people pray asking God for what a man can give them. Now, I ain't talking gender. I'm just talking social groups, organizations, parties. When I pray, I'm asking for what only God can give me. Why would I ask Warren Buffett, do he have $5? Hey, sir, you think you got $5, man? Warren Buffett? That's an insult. They missed it. Warren Buffett, a billionaire, walks in here, the richest man on the earth, and he walks in here right now. That's an insult for me to ask him anything less than who he is. They're missing it. When I turn the corner, we all gonna shout. So why are you asking God for anything less than who he is? And this is the confidence we have in him.
Come on now.
First John 5:14.
You know what I mean? Like, man, I do not. This is real talk. This is real talk. I really ask God, give me only what you can. So when I step up there and I say, I'm going for every lost, unsaved soul in New Orleans, man, I don't care what no preacher say. I don't like none. I ain't like that. Don't make me get started now. We really gonna get in trouble. We about to cancel the whole live. Serious, because I think it's a small mind for people to be in competition with one another over something. I want y'all to think about this. A pastor called one time and said, "Yeah, boy, you're gonna make such and such, man." I said, "Man, listen, man, let me tell you something." I said, if every African American person in this city right now wakes up Sunday morning and say they want to go to church, we don't have enough room for them. Put it in perspective. Go ahead and think about it. Now, think about it. I ain't even include our Caucasian brothers and sisters or anybody else or any other people group. If every African American in this city right now woke up Sunday morning and said, you know what, I think all of us need to go to church. We don't have physically buildings to contain all of them. So why are we competing again? I'm confused.
Why?
Jay-Z, what's better than 1 millionaire? Dude, man, what you talking about? No, this is true now. It's true. No, this is true stuff. I tell people this all the time. These ain't jokes. These ain't nothing new. I tell people this straight up. Don't call me. Don't play with me. I don't got time for it. Because at the end of the day, man, resurrection, I'm going to refer back to it again. You had over 7,000 in Tank Garden, and everybody else's church was full. It teaches us another biblical lesson. You only can contain what you have capacity for. If you want more, build bigger. Come on. This is Bible, man. We talking Bible or we talking, right? If you want more, build bigger. But he will only fill as many jars as you borrow. To ask him to keep pouring oil, wasting it without you borrowing jars is an insult to God. Go borrow as many jars as you want to. And when she went, guess what? The Bible said that she ran out of jars. He never runs out of oil. He never. Come on, let's go some more. Acts chapter number 2. The Holy Spirit came and filled every empty space. Even when we have a packed church at church, I always take one more chair and put it there. Because I always give him some more room to fill, man. He only can fill it according to your capacity. That's how that works. So if you got a pint-sized heart, he only can give you pint-sized enough love. If you only have a percentage for peace, he will only give you that. He only going to fill what you have capacity for. We would rather buffer than to reset.
Come on, say it again, man.
We would rather stay on loading than to reset and restore space for more. We would rather become storage of all these different conglomerate of things that's insignificant. Emails we don't even need anymore. Storage space, pictures we don't even want anymore. We would rather all that pile up than to take time to delete it so you can make room for more. So if more not coming, I don't have room for it. Because he gonna fill it according to his occupancy. You want more? Give him more space.
So I need you, for me, before people start logging off, I need you to talk about this for me. Crowns are beautiful, but they're heavy.
Very heavy. As all of y'all know, like, public impressions are always can be totally different than private makeups or images. And I think a lot of times that we now have settled for a selfie than the story. We would rather a selfie to depict relationship than to actually have a relationship. We'd rather a selfie in Paris and won't even enjoy it. It's a depiction. I watched this movie when I was on my way to Kampala, Uganda, Africa. It's Billionaire Boys Club, and there's this guy, Spacey. He was shopping on Rodale Drive, and he got this Bentley and this dog, and he have all this stuff, and he was running a whole Ponzi scheme. And these young boys who was investors, they wanted him to be their tutor, and when he, took their money, they went to him. He said, people would rather you lie to them than to tell them the truth. He said, so I wake up every morning and say, who need to be lied to? Beautiful crowns are always a depiction of beauty, but it doesn't show the bandages. Every ballerina can tell you, it looked nice, but it hurt. Oh, I was on my tippy toes all day. Oh, I did that dance. When I get home, I gotta ice it. I gotta do this to it, because every rose have a thorn, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You cannot get by without it. There's no patriarch in the Bible that God has ever used that didn't struggle with something. Right? There's no minor or major prophet that didn't struggle with identity. I'm too young. I'm not built for it. I talk like this. And God said, every excuse you have, I have an exit plan for it, or an execution plan for it. Every excuse, Moses, Jeremiah, Isaiah, any one of you all bring me an excuse, and I have an execution plan, because I knew you long before you discover yourself. So before the foundation of the world, Jesus was in existence. He didn't show up in the New Testament out of nowhere. He was there when he said, let us make man in our plural, our image. So when Adam did what he did, God said, I already had Jesus as a sacrificial lamb long before you made that mistake. There's no escape. There is no temptation that is not common to man, but he always make a way of escape.
You talked about that pain. They caught up, so I got to do it. You talked about the pain. Chapter 6, you said, pain does not have to end badly. God never wastes a painful experience.
Got to make my pain pay me.
Gotta make-
My
Yeah.
pain got to pay me.
Yeah.
Everything about your life have to make sense.
Yeah.
You are God's greatest investment. When I discovered God is not invested in nothing around me, I start taking the value who I am, and I'm looking at his deposits and my withdrawals. And I say, wait 1 second. This pain got to pay me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I put it in the book, and somebody paid money for my pain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gotta pay them.
Yeah, pain. Those are painful stories on those bookshelves.
Yeah.
That ain't success stories. No, that's me trying to walk through ambiguity and say, why does this hurt so bad? And when God whispered to me, he said, you will always remember how much it hurt, but I erase how it made you feel.
While you're there,
Look.
living, you say in this in chapter 6, living with unforgiveness is like living in two places at one time, yet paying them
rent,
both.
paying mortgage, man. They occupy the space. I believe time is money, and I believe your energy, and I believe you are valuable. Listen to me. He died for you. If that ain't the value system, if that's not to show you how valuable you are to God, I don't know what else going to prove to you that you don't have the time to pay rent in two different spaces and one you're not occupying. When I discovered that I have to live life with unanswered questions, I close my own doors. Oh, I ain't waiting on you to close nothing for me. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I just want to have one more conversation with you, because I just want to close this chapter. All right, no problem. Close it. Because my future waiting on me.
Right.
Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Y'all
do.
got some? Because I got more I want
I
from
mean,
you.
just tagging on that. Like, to be honest with you, we all wait for closure.
Yeah.
We wait, and that hit me heavy too in this book, because
Yeah.
one thing we do is you want to close the chapter right, but you already got all your answers. You went through it. You know what it feel like. Why you wait on this person to confirm what you feeling?
All right. I'm gonna say this, and I hope this helps somebody. People who are still waiting in the balance of closure are people who have not received the clarity of what he's delivering you to. See, if I walk every exit is an entrance. If I walk out this door, I'm walking into something else. So majority of people, we say closure, but what we want to say is I'm unclear because I don't know where to go next. Because if I knew what next contained, I would close this fast. You tell me, oh man, I got a job for you making $1 million a day. Man, what? Put your mama on the phone. Oh, man, I'm out of here. Because I know what's next. You don't have a problem with closing anything if you clear for what's next.
Right. And in that vein, chapter 7, you said, in my right environment, I flourish.
Everybody have to have the right environment. We know this. We know the principle of fish outside of water is impossible. And to be thoroughly honest with you, you owe it to yourself to put yourself in the best environment so you can see the best of who you are. Right? To live in any environment that suffocates who you are is inward damage. It's suffocating, right? I can't be my best self. I can't think. That's what billionaires and millionaires do. Billionaires and millionaires, they pay for environments. So their entire schedule is environments for them to be creative. Massages, workout, reading. I go to this restaurant. I go here. Because their 5-mile radius is surrounded by their creativity. What triggers them? What makes them emotional? They can't hear bad news before this time. I tell everybody, everybody's not a Monday conversation. So certain people I don't talk to on Mondays. Because you can't start my week off with your trash from the weekend.
Come on, man.
You know, my baby daddy came over here Sunday. Man, I don't care about your baby daddy. I'm trying to have a good, productive week, right? Because I'm at my best on Monday. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't create those spaces and environments, you're only, like James say, to have faith in no works, you're only fooling yourself, right? You're not thriving the best way that you're supposed to thrive. Hope that's helping somebody.
Oh, it's helping the people in the back. I hope you heard them. The people in the back. I hope you heard them. Yeah. This is the conversation for me.
I got more
Okay,
questions.
yeah.
All right.
Have you-
We're in chapter 9 now.
Yeah.
You're talking about installation process.
Mm-hmm.
And you say it's important for us to go through the development process with grace and patience,
Sure.
because unbridged excitement can have catastrophic results.
Catastrophic results. They have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. I'm just excited to do it. So, that's what got people jacked up today about prayer. They think because they pray a lot and pray hard that they're praying right. You can pray hard. You can slob down there. You can speak in tongues. You can do all of that. But if you ain't praying right, you learn that in the gym. You learn that in track. You learn that everywhere. If you're not doing it right, the right form, the right agility, the right patience, it won't be effective. So what are we talking about? Anybody who get excited, I always say, well, calm down now. Don't get excited now, right? Get excited when you start seeing the fruits of your labor. When you pace yourself to stride, not strive. Striving is putting all of my energy towards an object. Striding is me taking long, intentional steps in one direction. You see what I'm saying? Like you got to know that. If you don't, then you will find yourself keep getting excited, hopeful about something that didn't promise you anything or promise you the result that you expected. Just excited, just happy. I ain't producing nothing.
You said that this morning on prayer, we have to learn how to live wisely, instead of trying to live right.
Yeah. So, all right, Pastor. All right. So I pray every morning. I'm living right. Yeah, but you spending your money bad. So what you think gonna bring you peace? You just praying? Because peace is not produced by prayer only. It's also produced by practice. And I go to sleep good when I have money. I was supposed to say that or something? Yeah, I get peace. No, I don't got no enemies because I live wise. There's wisdom literature in the Bible for a reason. It's to teach us how to live. Look at the ant. The ant go in the summer to get the food as a colony. So when the winter come, they can have something stored up, which means that we're going to always have 7 years of famine and 7 years of harvest.
Y'all got something else that speak now.
So what I have,
I'm trying to get everything from the man. Come on.
so mine is going to be more so the declaration, and I want to kind of wait till we got to more
You
so
free
the
to move.
ending.
You free to
So and it's not too early to do it. So there is, because you got me on this declaration, keys to the kingdom. So we hear keys to the kingdom, we thinking that you about to talk about keys to the kingdom, but you begin to speak over us.
Sure.
And I said, bruh,
Yeah.
like I felt what you were saying.
Yeah.
You read words sometimes, and you just read them, and you're like, oh, that's what's up. That's nice that they saying it, but I felt what you were saying, and I was speaking over myself. And so tonight, I want to speak. Page 111. You got your books with you. I'm saying, turn to page 111, and I just want to speak this real quick
Right.
to us. And it's just to encourage you, man, because if you read the book, you are inspired that whatever's on the inside of you, it is there. And God has purposed it, man. This man who is who he is because he is who he is because he understands who God created him to be. We are who we are because we understand who nobody was doing this, but when God spoke it, I knew we had to go forward. I didn't know the reason behind it, but so I was telling Pastor Everett, a man who been 5 months clean off of pills came to me and said, "Man, I've been watching y'all." And I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, man, y'all help me. Y'all help me get up in the morning. I listen to y'all. Start quoting things from the lives. You don't know what you're doing. You see maybe two or three people on, but you have no idea the impact that you're making. So you gotta move when God says go. Like he said, the answer is not no if God said yes.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that ain't it. So I just
Before
want
you make this declaration,
ahead.
let me tell everybody this, and this just tap me. Every idea, every goal, every vision needs a thought for permission to live. So every concept, everything that people see, it needs transportation to live. Because if you're gonna have it in your hand, it got to go through your head first. So the keys are thoughts, igniting thoughts, emotions, feelings. That's where the declaration came from. Say, no, you have permission. You're waiting on somebody to give you keys. All your keys is in your hand. You got the medicine. Who are you waiting on? The government. So I don't live by philosophy thinking outside the box. There is no box. Nobody never showed me the box. When where the box? What are the metrics? How big this box is? You about to do declaration?
Bruh.
Like,
We live in this system. Listen to me.
I thought it was about to just like.
Take me out this channel.
I thought you about to flow into it. I set it up for you.
You set it up for me. All right, let's go. Let's go.
I
Let's
thought
go.
the crescendo.
All
was
right,
like,
all right, all right, all right. I mean, because yeah, I'm about to take a lap. All right, so all right, we starting from the second sentence. So it says, "This is a declaration over dreams and destinies. Instead of a home, you will rest your head in the promises of God, where everything you will ever need has been prepared for you. You will never have to look outside of your gift for what you need. You live on a different frequency now. No longer do you have to go out and find what you need. Your gift knows what to do, and it attracts the people, the right people. It attracts the right people, places, and things to you. Your advertising budget is fully funded, and the universe is your commercial space. You have no limitations.
Yeah.
You have no limitations." So I said I was gonna stop there, but people will hear of your gifts and tell you about its wonders. For those who don't see it, people will hear about your gifts and tell you about its wonders. Your gift will solve problems in an industry that is starving for an answer. You will be the answer to the economy. Old businesses are closing down and God businesses are opening up. And your gift is now on full display for the world to see. Come on, man. Also, you're processing so many orders and receiving so many inquiries that you have to issue a decree to stop inquiries from coming in. Hold on orders placed and create a waiting list for those looking for your service. When you do business the God kind of way, let me say it one more time. When you do business the God kind of way, you walk in integrity, and the character of God is your greatest witness, and that witness is the ad you place in the world. By God business, I don't mean serving the church. This is you speaking. When he said by God business, I don't mean serving the church. God business means for you to serve the world with your heart. with the heart of God. My apologies. With the heart of God, meaning your business dealings are honest. Still, you are trustworthy. Your products are compliment and sufficient. Your prices are fair, and your books are clean. It has more, y'all, but I mean it.
You know, gifts are God making you want what He need in the earth. He make you want what He need. I want to be this. That's because He need that. Because your life is an answer to a problem. I am my answer to life problems. To only think that you are restricted to a building, you limit your potential. I am my answer to God to life problem. The earth is not fulfilled until I step into who I am. What if Pluto never showed up to work? Huh? What if the wind say, I'm taking off today? What if the sun say, I'm a little bit tired today. I can't show up today and shine. Everything that has origin and has purpose is to solve a problem. Life is about problem solving. And your gift was given to you to solve a problem. It's not to tote all what we call Christian liberties, just to flaunt. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, man, I'm here trying to solve a problem. The faster I get to that problem, the faster I get to my purpose. And the faster I start my passion going. And the faster I'm looking at this blueprint. Oh, I didn't know this ride was going to be like this. But it's worth it though, because I'm solving a problem. You are an answer to somebody's problem. He will make you want what he needs. Your desires are designed according to the needs in the earth. Why I want this? Because the earth need it. Huh? Why I want to be a millionaire? Because God trusts you with the millions, because he know you're going to give it to the right people. See, there's always a need. There's always a problem. And when people discover I am just at the core of who I am, I'm a problem solver. That's why I excel at the most. I'm the guy who look for the problem. Say, oh no, you can do this. No. When I identify that in my son, when he was 4 years old, I would see my son like doing certain things. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I messed stuff up on purpose to let him perfect problem solving. So I let my tennis shoe be over there, and the other one over there, he'll just pick up the tennis shoe and bring it over there because he's a problem solver. If you don't know that, then you allow problems to be your prison. When problems is your platform.
Pastor, we done, but you gotta release the prayer and cover us in this moment.
Sweet Holy Spirit, we thank you for this moment. It's a theophany moment, is when you break the custom of time and you scale back the systems and the normal operation of the felonies of life. And you said, no, let this be at Maroon on St. Charles on this day, to then birth a fresh drink or drop of your water. And so, Lord Father, honestly, we want to really say thank you. That all of us can be in this one place, very eclectic and very diverse, and conglomerate of circumstances and resources and gifts. And all of us come to this common denominator that in life, I'm really just a problem solver. I'm somebody answer. Somebody right now been praying for me all my life just to meet me. Somebody need my warm embrace, and they've lacked it for so long. Man who been lame for 38 years. Just one day with Jesus changed his entire life. So I speak, I decree, I declare The agitation is purposeful. It's not necessary. It's not negative. It's necessary. It's not misery. It's just a moment. It's not my define or definition, Lord. It's just a mistake. So I pray, Father, as we all, oh man, as we all in this room tonight, that you see past our pretensions and you see past all of what we presented tonight and you look at what we hide in, because we are not who we think we are who we hide. Lord, tonight, there's some of us in this room. We thought all this time, Lord, our zeal and our passion was what we was running to. But we discovered tonight there's something we running from. Whether it's abuse, whether it's neglect, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's poverty, whether it's criticism, whether it's scandals, whether it's jealousy, whatever it is that we running from, allow us to manage the manifestation, that our desires stop fixing our past and our desires start propelling us in our future. So I decree this tonight, Lord. And I ask, Lord, Father, before we leave this room, that you have a sweet moment with us. Lord, tonight, if I'm asking too small, can you do this or something greater? It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. So we just thank you all again for just tuning in with us. You can follow all of us on our respective social medias. I am at Jazz C. Henderson, the Elder, DC Cross, Quintess Cotton, and of course, Pastor Jonathan Everett. We're going to come back to you guys in the fall. If you know of any books that honestly speak to victory over grief, I'll put it that way. Hit us up in our DM and just suggest those books to us. And we look forward to um, these conversations continuing even after this live. And we thank you all again for your support of the kickoff of the review. And yeah, thank you all so much. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you all so very much for the opportunity.
you.
Thank you all for the appreciate it so much.